Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with a quick update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP for you. Thank you so much for everyone's well wishes. I'm still not better, but hopefully another day or two. I'm going to look at a Z-score with you today. Yeah, that's how I say it. This is from lookintobitcoin.com. If you go to that website, you can find this chart. This is the Z-score. It's the difference between the market value and the realized value. So the Z-score is this orange line. When the orange line enters the red highlighted zone, then we can say that Bitcoin is overvalued. When it enters the green zone, we can say it's undervalued. And this has historically been pretty accurate at predicting highs and lows within 2 weeks, so that's pretty strong. It didn't work at the all-time high though. So I've taken these points in time where the Z-score entered the red zone and the green zone when it reached its extreme within those areas, and I've added that to this chart. So now you can see on this chart of Bitcoin's entire price history when the Z-score reaches a peak of overvalued or undervalued. So the first overvalued was June 2011, and within 2 weeks the Z-score reached overvalued, and then Bitcoin found a high and saw a big crash. It reached undervalued down here in October 2011, the month just before the final low was found, so it's pretty close. Overvalued again here, and here. Didn't reach undervalued here, did reach undervalued here, so on a high to low basis, this is the low, February 2014, but the Z-score didn't reach undervalued. It did reach undervalued on a closing basis here for January 2015. Overvalued again here, undervalued here, didn't reach overvalued here, did reach undervalued here, reached overvalued here a couple of months before this high in April 2021. Did not reach overvalued at the all-time high in November 2021. Did reach undervalued in November 2022. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So if the Z-scores reached undervalued here for November 2022, that's further information that tells us that this low of November last year is extremely likely to remain intact for the long term. And the Z-score has not reached overvalued yet, so we can expect overall a continuation of upward movement until it does so. Currently the Z-score is actually pretty low, so there's a very, very long way up to go before it reaches into the red zone again, overvalued. So that's another little piece of information we can put together with all of the other technical indicators I'm using to try and identify peaks and troughs for Bitcoin. A very quick look at technicals for all of them. The current session has a higher high and a higher low. It's got some push from volume, but it's developing a bearish upper wick, still finding resistance just below the upper edge of this trend line and just below 27,400. Again, good to see some push from volume for upward movement. I'm still reading the Bitcoin volume profile as bullish. ADX is still declining, it's below 15. It's setting itself up for a strong signal, but no signal yet. Again, I'll be keeping a close eye on that one for Bitcoin. The main Elliott Wave count for Ethereum on the weekly chart. Keep an eye on this trend line, drawn from this low to this low. Extend it on out. This line is providing support. It's a base channel drawn around intermediate waves 1 and 2. For Ethereum, I see intermediate 1 and 2 within primary 3 and minor 1 and 2 within primary 3. So for Ethereum, my Elliott Wave count has a third wave at minor, intermediate, primary and cycle degree. This is within the bigger picture is a cycle degree third wave. So this is an extremely bullish wave count for Ethereum. On the daily chart, here's the end of another second wave correction a couple of days ago, finding support at that base channel, and this session finding resistance perfectly at the upper edge of this best fit channel. I want to see this trend line breached and this price point taken out for confidence that this low of 11th of September is going to remain intact for Ethereum. Real quick technicals on the daily. Upward movement finding resistance at this trend line, developing a bearish upper wick, but a higher low, and a little bit of support from volume compared to the previous upward session. We need to see this trend line breached, and my definition of a breach is very conservative. A full daily candlestick of upward movement above and not touching this trend line to have confidence that this low is likely to remain intact. XRP on the weekly chart, I see a primary degree second wave correction over here when 2 ends, 3 begins, and the bigger picture again is within a cycle degree third wave. So the wave count for XRP is also extremely bullish, a third wave at intermediate degree, within a third wave at primary degree, within a third wave at cycle degree, with intermediate 2 possibly over here. The main Elliott Wave count for XRP sees intermediate wave 2 over at the low for 17th of August. This has the best fit and it makes the most sense. If 2 is over here, I'm going to label minor 1 incomplete with minute 1 and 2, and now minuet 1 and 2. So this downward movement is a second wave correction for the main Elliott wave count. Whereas for the alternate Elliott wave count, this downward movement is supposed to be the start of a third wave. Even though it's a low degree minuet, it still is not behaving like a third wave. So again, the alternate Elliott wave count isn't unfolding as you would expect. It's still useful because when it's invalidated with a new high above 0.5467, we can eliminate this bearish alternative and have a little bit more confidence in the main bullish Elliott wave count. So instead of intermediate 2 over here, what if it's continuing? So both of the counts are the same to here. Instead of A, B, C and intermediate 2 over here, what if it's A, B, C? The problem is C has to be a 5-wave motive structure, so we have 1 expanded flat for 2. Now price should be moving strongly lower with push from volume for a third wave, but it's not. It's basically drifting sideways and slightly lower. There's just no strength to the downside in this movement, and the volume profile is bullish, so it doesn't fit this wave count. So again, the main Elliott wave count, I have more confidence in it because of how price and volume are behaving. Technicals on the daily chart for XRP, there's a hammer candlestick pattern a couple of days ago. Price just essentially moving sideways today with a decline in volume, just a small little doji drifting sideways. Normal to be expected behaviour. Price won't continue to move in a straight line. It doesn't if we are in a new upward trend. Don't expect just a bunch of green candlesticks. There'll be pullbacks, consolidations and pauses along the way. That's normal to be expected behaviour. Got a nice little range developing on balance volume now for XRP. I've redrawn the resistance line today from this high to this high. A break out of resistance or below support would provide a weak signal. Weak because each line only has 2 tests, but they are close to horizontal, so there is a little technical significance here. That's it from me with a quick update for you today. I hope everyone's having an awesome day.